What is up, everybody? Keith, aka Gator Guy 231. It's Sunday, August 30th. Another 3 games in the NBA slate. Let's jump right into the picks. We're going to go by position and should be a short one. So let's hope we can get some good picks and get off and running. Games do start at 1 p.m. today, Eastern, so make sure that you are getting in early. So biggest thing that we're going to be watching on the whole slate is the status of Luka Doncic. Mavs got absolutely routed last game versus the Clippers, but if they have any chance, it's going to be because of Luka doing another 92-plus performance. No Porzingis. Hardaway Jr. is questionable. Really do think it's a tough spot, but I do think he is the highest ceiling on the slate. At this point, I think I'm probably likely to fade, especially not knowing his status going into the first game. But 11-2, you can't argue again with the ceiling. So I do think he's in play. I just don't know if he's necessarily like something that you have to lock in. I do think there's a lot of merit to building down the middle. Who you might want to play if you don't play Doncic is the heat check that is Jamal Murray. Last 268 and 82. It's just insane to think about. He is the offense for the Nuggets right now as they're trying to stay alive versus Utah. 41 and 43 minutes. 57 shots over the last 2. We've seen Murray get hot at stretches and just go off. So it's definitely one of those times right now that we could ride him. I do actually think that for the savings, I prefer Murray to Doncic, which is just insane to say. Like a week ago, there's no way I would say something like that. Finally, the other point guard I wanted to highlight is Kimbo Walker, who is also getting hot at the right moment since Hayward went down. Has 50 and 47 the last 2 versus Philly. Matchup versus Toronto should be a little bit more difficult. Lowry and Van Fleet are definitely going to be playing better defense than any of the Sixers guys were doing versus Kemba. But once again, we know, like Murray, when Kemba gets hot, he just can really go on like a week-long cooker. So I really like playing him here, and I love the price at 7,200. Let's go over to the shooting guard position. I'm actually going to skip over Donovan Mitchell at 9,700. I don't think that he is a price that I really want to target. I just think it's steep. So first I'm going to talk about is Fredman Fleet. So obviously versus the Brooklyn game, let's just toss that out because the Toronto Stars didn't need to play. But before that, versus Brooklyn, he had 60, 49, and 40. Really taking huge usage and huge shots, 13, 22, and 15. And then the other good thing with Van Fleet is when he's on ball a lot, you get assists for too. So 11, 10, and 5 assists. So at 7,700, I just think he's a really, really solid play in the mid-tier. I'm a guy that, more often than not is going to get you in that 35 to 45 range. So while it's not a huge upside for his tag, I think he's definitely very safe if you kind of want somebody in for cash claims. Maybe a more wide-range player is Jaylen Brown. Without Gordon Hayward, minutes are huge, 42 and 41 the last 2. Neither one of them was showing ceiling, but he just didn't shoot the ball well, 6 of 15, 6 of 16. Is going to be an all-around contributor for us. So 7,100, I think, is fine. Finally, we really need to watch the Mavs situation. If Hardaway Jr. Were to miss and Finney Smith were to miss and Trey Burke is out and all these guys, we might want to look at Seth Curry. He's coming off of a really tough game, only 5.5 DK. But before that, we have 23, 30, 19. We know that he has the ability to score the ball. And at 4,500, he's going to be potentially one of the better values under 5K, especially if we get multiple guys missing and we can project his minutes above 30. Let's go over to the small forward position, which is absolutely stacked today. Top of the list, obviously, is Kawhi Leonard. Playoff Kawhi is insane. 10-1, I just think is like a perfect tag for him, exactly where DraftKings should have priced him, where, you kind of are sitting there and going, is there enough ceiling? There's definitely enough floor. I think he's a really good play. Just playing around my lineups to see if I can get him in. The biggest thing for him is going to be, can the Mavs keep this close? And so is he going to see upper 30s to low 40s in minutes, or is he going to, potentially be like the last game where I only need to play 30 minutes? I'm going to do over Tatum at power forward. For some savings, you can go teammate Paul George, who we predicted here at FSI, we were all over him last game that with all of the controversy going around that he was going to step up and have a big game. Certainly did. Was shooting the ball great, 12 of 18 before the game blew out. I do think that he is back going to be on a roll today. I think at 8,300, he definitely is one of my favorite upper mid-tier plays. We know the shots are going to be there. We know the opportunity is going to be there. And also we know that the Clippers said no a lot there. But I feel that they're going to continue to try to keep him going because for them to win the title, it's going to have to be with Paul George being vintage Paul George and not the shell of himself that we saw last week. Finally, at small forward, let's get down here. I really do think OG continues to be a really good value for his price. He's playing big minutes. He hasn't flashed huge ceiling by any means, but at 4,700, getting in that 25 to 30 range is really, really nice. So I do think if, you're kind of looking for some value, that is a good place to go. Power forward at the top, Jason Tatum was sensational versus the Clippers the whole series. Definitely going to see a lot better defense versus a Siakam. Whether they're trying to put Norman Powell on him, do they play Serge Ibaka? They have a lot of bodies that can throw at Tatum, but we are seeing, the promise of Tatum, future superstar showing himself with 3 over 50 in his final game over 60 DK. I think 9,200 is an appropriate tag and a really nice spot. Pascal Siakam finally is returning to the pre-break form, 45 and 47 in the last 2 games. The big thing we would like to see is the shots back up well over 20, and he's getting boards and assists. So 8,100. I really think Boston could struggle with him. They just don't have, good size to really just match Siakam. So I do think that he's a very nice play, 8,100. Finally, just going to put up Jeremy Grant. Paul Millsap is kind of getting run off the floor in the series. Jeremy Grant's playing huge minutes, 40 and 36. Honestly, I feel like those outcomes, 23 and 19 DK, are some of the worst that we could have predicted for him. Normally a very, very, very active contributor at all ends of the court, defensively and on the glass. So I really like Jeremy Grant at 4,800. Finally, let's go over to center. Nikola Jokic, I think, has a possibility to be the top play on this slate. We saw last game, I think it was half of his production was in the first quarter, just draining threes. I think he was 7 for 7 in the first quarter before Murray took over. The rebounding and assists are kind of what worries me with Jokic. Only 6 and 7 the last 2 games, 4 and 6. But realistically, the Nuggets are going to need Jokic and Murray to carry them in this game. I just love the minutes, love the shots. I do think that the rebounding and assists will continue to go up. So I think with Jokic, I'm predicting well over 50 today. Let's see if it happens. Gobert is fine. Just the thing with Gobert is if you're spending 7,800, you do want more ceiling. So, somebody like Siakam, I feel like is a little bit more ceiling. But, Gobert is center eligible. If you're struggling at center, 7,800 is a fair price. Finally, just want to bring up 2 plays down in the value tier. Montrezl Harrell. A lot of that was in, garbage time, but we do know that Harrell is a very, very productive player. I don't really know what to gauge with the minutes. I think he's more GPP, but 4,400, I would say huge upside. Marc Gasol, I think, is just a little too cheap, and I'm curious. I think he might catch some wind by the end of this and be pretty chalky. Biggest thing is, there's not huge minutes. He's only playing about 21 minutes a game in the Boston series, but he's 3,900. Boston really, really struggles. I should say in the Brooklyn series, Boston really struggles versus bigs. So for 3,900 to get a really, really good player in Marc Gasol who could see those minutes really shoot up, I think is a little too hard to pass on for the tag. All right, guys, good luck today. Thank you all so much for supporting. Keep in mind, if you're enjoying these videos, bottom right, hit that subscribe button. Good luck today and take care.